Guys, I'm back. So I know I said I was going to post some videos after my last video, and I think it's been a month or more. But obviously, I had the surgery. So I was going to just real quick kind of tell you where I'm at and what happened in a brief synopsis. And then I'm going to try going for it. Obviously, it was not very good the first time, but I'm going to try to um, potentially make videos going forward about what I'm going to do with the results of this biopsy. So, well, not the biopsy, but the actual removal of the thyroid and the results that I got from that. So, I think the last I posted, I was just talking about the fact that I was diagnosed with it, and I don't even know if I actually. No, I did. I had gotten the results because I talked about having thyroid cancer. Um, but at that point, I don't know if I knew I was getting the surgery or not. But anyway, I had a partial thyroidectomy. So they said they were going to keep the 1.5 based off of the results of the biopsy, but they wanted me to have the other half removed. So I had that surgery. It was really scary. In the beginning, when I went in, I was scared. At the end, like after everything was all said and done, everything had went well. I had it last Friday. So as you can see, I have the steri strips. This looks much better than it did when I came. Well, I didn't see it when I came out of surgery. I had a tegaderm over it, which was like a large bandage, and I wasn't allowed to take that off for 2 days. After 2 days, I took it off, and this was here, but I had I think just lots of marker from where the doctor had marked me up. But she did put it in a natural crease in my neck, um, so that's good. But I have these steri strips, which is kind of like they're kind of just to keep the incision closed and in place, and actually it does a really good job of that because I can't really move my neck all the way. It's much better than it was, earlier this week. Um, but it kind of just keeps everything nice and tight. And I can't take these off. I have a follow-up appointment. They either have to fall off by themselves or I have to go for the follow-up appointment and the surgeon will take them off. Um, so I won't go into too much detail just about how I felt after surgery. I feel like I can make another video about that specifically. But what I was going to talk about was that I did have the surgery. Obviously, I'm here and I'm okay. It was scary going in. I never had surgery before, but obviously I got through it. I guess that's the main message. And then the second big thing, and why my story is not necessarily over, is because when they did, I just got the results back from the biopsy of the thyroid that they took. So the nodule was the cancer that they suspected it was. It's non-aggressive cancer, which was great news. The whole cyst was cancer, but the doctor said she believed it was well maintained. However, during surgery, they took out a couple lymph nodes in that area, and she stressed to me that it was very small, but there was a very microscopic spot of the cancer inside the lymph node. One of the lymph nodes, the others were clear. So basically, what she was talking about was that she wants to talk to my endocrinologist, but they may recommend me having the entire thyroid out, meaning taking out the left lobe too, because I guess they're worried since there was any trace of the cells outside of the thyroid that it could be on the other side of my thyroid as well, and that they don't know how high the risk is of it becoming an actual problem at any point. If the cells are on the other side, is it worth it to take out the other half? She's like, I really don't like the idea of being reliant on medication to live. And that's what thyroid medication really is. You need it to live if you don't have a thyroid because you need those hormones. So, she's like, are you more worried about being on medication for the rest of your life and being functional on the medication, or are you more worried about potentially having the cancer cells in your body? And we don't know for sure if it's going to ever cause you any problems, but would you rather have the whole thyroid taken out? So that's where I'm kind of like back to like not decision make well yeah decision making. She hasn't necessarily suggested I have the whole thyroid removed yet, but like she was telling me, she's like, it wouldn't be an urgent thing, like you can take your time whenever you would be ready to do it, if that's what me and your endocrinologist decide is going to be our recommendation for you. So I don't know for sure that even if they recommend it, I don't think I'm honestly going to do it for a few reasons, and I'll explain myself. Um, Number one, if they take out the whole thyroid, I am going to be relying on medication, which I could deal with. I'd be willing to deal with if in my mind it was completely worth it. But like she said, she doesn't even, she told me it's a gray area. She doesn't sound 100% confident that that's the best choice, because they don't know for sure that it's going to be that big of a problem if there are cancer cells on the other side. And then my other reason for that is, even if they remove the one half that has the cancer cells in it, if there are lymph nodes that have had this cancer spread to it and the cancer begins to spread to other parts of my body, that's, because thyroid cancer can spread to other parts of your body. Um, is that necessarily meaning that it's going to, taking out the other half isn't going to stop anything that had happened in my lymph nodes? Maybe they could remove some of the lymph nodes. I didn't get to that part of the discussion with her. We haven't gotten that far. It was just her going over my results. So, she's like, I don't want you to be stressed. And, it's easier said than done. But anyway, the other half of what I'm going to talk about, I think may upset people if, people feel very strongly about medical interventions. And it's really funny to me because I'm actually in nursing school. I'm going to graduate in May. So I am not against medical intervention, as you can see. However, I do strongly believe in natural interventions as well. And that is the path I believe I'm going to be taking. So, like I said, with the lymph node involvement, there was lymph node involvement, even though it was maybe very minuscule, there was lymph node involvement. And to me, like, I know for a fact I am not the healthiest person. I don't eat healthy. I eat junk. I like Chick-fil-A, and like I like Starbucks. I like to snack, and I've got a sweet tooth. So like all those things, I know, I've always known that it's not good for you. It's not what we're meant to be eating. And I really believe the only true cure for cancer is to eat what you're supposed to be eating, antioxidants, which prevent cancer. They don't allow the cells to have those free radicals penetrating them. And I really think I'm going to take the all-natural path. Now that I have the large amount of cancer out, I want to do what I can to stop any form of cancer from forming in other parts of my body, including my thyroid. If there are cells on the side, I want to fix it. I want to get rid of those cells. I want my body to do what it wants to do. And really what I've been doing my whole life has just been fighting what my body needs. So I think just taking the path that I know is right, and I think most of us somewhere, even doctors that totally disagree with me, because I have brought up to my doctors, like, me being interested in taking care of this naturally, a lot of them get really upset and really uncomfortable and just really almost like defensive when you talk about natural treatments. And I feel like a lot of that comes from the fact that it's like not what they were trained in. And I think that they believe medicine, like pills and medicine and, Western medicine is the only right way because that's the only way they've been taught, and they have a very high status in our society. And I feel like it threatens not their standing, but I just feel like it threatens their intelligence a little bit, or they feel like their intelligence is being threatened. because they feel like they've earned this. They work very hard, and I'm not discounting that they are experts in their field, but doctors will always say they don't know what causes cancer. They know some things that can cause cancer, but they won't say, like, like what my doctor told me. And she's a great doctor. She's very sweet. But like she said, it's just bad luck. And I don't believe that. I don't think it's a coincidence. So anyway, I did a little bit of research online, and I stumbled upon this holistic healing center in Missouri. Actually, I found the guy's videos on YouTube, and what he was talking about like hit home so hard. He was talking about polycystic ovarian syndrome. He was talking about lipomas, which actually, when I had this removed, I also had a lipoma removed. That's what started this whole thing, is I had a lump on my hip that I was concerned about, and went to the OBGYN for that, and they did the thyroid exam, and that's where they found the thyroid nodule. So, like, there all these abnormal growths, basically. They were talking about the abnormal growths. And I don't think that me having the PCOS and lipoma and this thyroid nut cancer, I don't think any of these are coincidence. I really think this is a result of the buildup of years of unhealthy eating, my whole life, really. I'll have vegetables at dinner, almost every dinner, but that doesn't change all the unhealthy things that I'm putting in my body and all. And I think, even though I'm not even 30 yet, I feel these effects, and I see it. I mean, you cannot deny it. And I think I'm actually having an appointment, like a Skype meeting with this holistic doctor next Friday. I'm gonna have it, and I really look forward to talking with him. And he seemed very knowledgeable in what he was talking about. He wasn't just like a hippie talking about this stuff. He was Christian, which I really appreciate, and he related our health and our bodies to how good God designed us. And even if you're not a Christian, I think most of us believe, even if you're just believe in the way nature operates. And I just think you can see how there's order to this world. And the example this guy gave, I don't want to use his name, I don't know, I don't want to like cause any problems. I'm not going to use his name, but he was talking about how you have your car, like you get this car and it was built by this creator, and they designed the oil, or you need, for this car to run the right way, you need to put what it was meant to be put in the car, which was oil and gasoline, for it to run. Now, if you decide you want to put something else in it, like water, it's not going to run the way it was meant to run. It's going to die. And that's how we live. This world we live in, which I'm just starting to kind of like open up, even though I've always known it. I think I maybe was in denial and didn't realize like how crazy and like important this is, because it's like seems normal now in the world we live in, but almost everything that we're told we can eat, like that's on the grocery store shelves. And I mean, I'll show you my pantry, it's all in there. So I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's not meant to be in our bodies. Those things it's not meant for people, and we're all eating it. All of us, we're all going to the grocery store and getting famous cookies. Maybe not all of us, but most of us, are buying these packaged foods. And we're meant to eat plants and maybe animals. I mean, some people may agree or disagree about that, but those are the things we're meant to be putting into our bodies. It's just what we were designed for the whole time that humans have been alive. Up until like this, modern age, we really have been eating raw foods and from the earth. That's how we've made it this far. Now that we're very industrialized and we're all eating packaged foods, and this is the kind of world we live in. And we're all getting sick and dying, and we're all wondering why. And it's like, well, it's not that hard to figure out. It's pretty obvious why we're sick and dying. It's just maybe we're all in a little bit of denial, including myself, because who wants to be told they can't eat Chick-fil-A every weekend? It's like, or every couple times a week. And it's going to be a really hard adjustment, especially because we live in this society. So I think we have to start forgiving ourselves for, and I need to start forgiving myself for, the past and the decisions I made, because this is the society we live in. It's not like you're a bad person because you're eating these things. It's the world we live in. I don't know how we could fix it or where we could start, because we're all very busy. How, like, do you start a garden in your backyard? And that takes some time and a little bit of money. It's a little bit of an investment, and that's if you have a backyard. So it's just you need to I need to learn how to prepare foods more often, like cook fresh, or just get my kids to start eating healthier things. So it's like all these little things that I'm thinking about, but I have to do it because I want them to be healthy and I want me to be healthy. I don't want to have cancer flowing through my body, which basically is kind of the results they gave me, even though the doctor was like, don't stress about it, don't worry. I can't help but think about it. I want to be around as long as I can for my boys. So that's the path I'm taking, and I'm going to try to update you on my appointment with this holistic doctor. I don't even know if he's actually a doctor. He might just be like a naturopath, but I'm gonna try to update you on what I talked to about him and what plans I have going forward in terms of changing my diet and changing my lifestyle. Another thing is stress, but right now I'm in nursing school, I work, I have 2 kids, and I just had surgery. So, I mean, it's really hard to eliminate stress. Not to mention, money's tight with all this going on. My husband works 7 days a week, night shift. So, all these things, it adds up. But you know what? Something's got to give and something's got to change. I can't do the same thing I've always done and just ignore it and pretend like everything's good, because obviously it's not. So, this isn't for any kind of physical appearance reasons. I would love to look skinny, but obviously I'm comfortable the way I am. I guess, I don't know. I forgive myself on that, but I really need to try to push myself in the direction that I know I need to be going. And I think I've always known. It's like when you're a little kid, or like even a teenager, and like you finally get that little bit of freedom, like you get your car and you can go out and you have a job where you're making a little bit of money and you can get the stuff that maybe your parents told you weren't allowed to have, or your parents wouldn't give you, and I feel like that's how I've lived since I was a teenager, even though like I know I shouldn't be eating this way, I do it because I'm like, oh, well, no one's going to tell me I can't, and that's what everyone else does, so why can't I? Like, that's not the attitude I want to have anymore. And I don't want to punish myself or feel guilty, because then I feel like guilt and shame kind of set you back and put you right back in the same place where you're like, oh, I don't want to think about it, so let me just keep doing what I'm doing. So anyway, it's going to be really hard. I know it's going to be a struggle, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for my kids, and I'm going to do it for me. I just want to have the right information before I get started. And I will share all that information with you guys. So I am looking forward to it because I really want to get started and I want to see the effects it can have, but I'm also scared. I'm scared to do it just because it's like, even though I know you don't know the future and I can accept that, it's scary because you don't know the future and you're just like, I hope this works. But the only way you can find out, I guess, is if you live to an old age. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to chew on while you're this young. But, I work in a hospital and I see a lot of people who are stuck in hospitals. And as mean as it sounds, I don't want to be a person stuck in a hospital. I want to live my life healthy for my kids, and I want them to live their lives the same, even though I said that about 10 times. So I will get back to you guys. Hopefully I did make a video, so that's, I guess, an improvement. But let me know if you have any questions, and yeah, I'll be back. Bye.